In this session, we explore contexts or situations where harm and abuse can occur.
Spiritual abuse. Spiritual abuse is a form of psychological and emotional abuse that takes place within a faith context. Sufferers, therefore, experience being controlled, coerced, and pressurized within churches and places of worship. It is possible that other forms of abuse will be occurring alongside spiritual abuse, such as sexual or physical abuse or neglect. Currently, there is no single agreed definition of spiritual abuse. However, it can be defined as coercion and control of one individual by another in a spiritual context.
Radicalisation. Radicalisation is a process by which an individual or group comes to adopt increasingly extreme political, social, or religious ideals and aspirations that may place them or the public in danger if they act upon those beliefs.
Forced marriage. Forced marriage occurs in any marriage where one or both people do not or cannot consent to the marriage, and pressure or abuse is used.
FGM. Female genital mutilation, FGM, is when the female genitals are deliberately cut, injured, or changed, but there's no medical reason to do so. It's also known as female circumcision or cutting, and by other terms.
Remember to take a break if you need.
Online abuse. Online abuse is any type of abuse that happens on the internet. It can happen across any device that's connected to the web, like computers, tablets, and mobile phones. And it can happen anywhere online, including social media, text messages, emails, online chats, online gaming, and live streaming sites. Online abuse is classified into 3 areas of risk. Content. Being exposed to illegal, inappropriate, or harmful online material. Contact. Being subjected to harmful online interaction with other users. Conduct. Personal online behaviour that increases the likelihood of or causes harm.
Domestic abuse is any incident or pattern of incidents of controlling, coercive, or threatening behaviour, violence or abuse between those aged 16 years or over who are or have been intimate partners or family members, regardless of gender or sexuality.
Modern-day slavery is the severe exploitation of other people for personal or commercial gain. Modern slavery is all around us, but often just out of sight. From the outside, it can look like a normal job. Things like making our clothes, serving our food, picking our crops, working in factories, or working in houses as cooks, cleaners, or nannies. But be aware that these individuals can face threats and violence, insufficient wages, be forced into huge debt, or have their passport taken away.
Human trafficking is a form of slavery. It involves forcing children and adults to move in order for them to be exploited in some way, moving them to another place within one country or often another country. It involves using threats, force, or deception to make them do something against their will, and using them to make money or provide services for their traffickers. They may look underfed, be unwell or injured, or seem frightened. They may be unwilling to talk, or they may even be living in overcrowded housing.
Finally, we look at sexual exploitation. Sexual exploitation is the coercion or manipulation of children or adults at risk into taking part in sexual activities. It is a form of sexual abuse involving an exchange of some form of payment that can include money, mobile phones, and other items such as drugs, alcohol, a place to stay, protection, or affection. Children or adults at risk are often unable to recognise the exploitative nature of these relationships and give consent.
Well, would you believe it? We both grew up here at St Mark's and we live just on the road. 2-minute walk from the chippy. Keeps me fit.
Keeps you fed, more like. We don't do much. Just make sure the church buildings are locked, tidied and locked again when we have events. We like it, don't we?
Love it.
So, we look after the church, the hall and our drop-in cafe. People, mostly the regulars, pop in quite a bit. They're good people, faithful people.
You pick up a lot doing this kind of thing, and not just litter. I mean through the conversations and just how people are around and about, I suppose.
Abigail's one example. We've known her family for years. She's only 15 but is very mature, responsible, good marks in school, helps out here and there without being asked, never disrespectful.
Well, in the last few months it's changed. The other night at youth group, she was telling other kids about...
We don't need to say, do we? Sexual things. I mean, Andy and I talk about them, sure. But for a 15-year-old, and especially for Abby, it didn't seem quite right.
But it's more than that, isn't it? There was a concert at the church not long after that, with refreshments in the cafe, so we were busy cleaning up afterwards. When we got back over to the hall to lock up, we heard someone upstairs talking on their phone, sounding agitated, upset. It was Abby.
She was telling a friend something about an older guy, something about buying her things after she'd had sex with him. She doesn't know how to stop it.
So we ummed and ahed about passing on our concerns. We only overheard it after all. And what about our relationship with Abby and her family?
But look, it's not about us, it's about Abby.
If you know or suspect that any child or adult is the victim of or is at risk of abuse, then you must pass on your concerns straight away.